recipients about the research and all the amazing things they plan to do with their doctoral degree. I'm your host, Dr. Ramon Goings, founder of Done Dissertation. We demystify the dissertation process so that doctoral students can write and defend their dissertation in 1 year or less. Today's episode is sponsored by Design Your Done Dissertation. It's our 5-hour virtual event happening on August the 21st. And during this 5-hour virtual event, we're going to give you all the strategies and support and foundation and plan to create a dissertation roadmap that gets you done with your dissertation this year. To learn more about the event, visit www.designyourdissertation.com. And again, it's www.designyourdissertation.com. And so for today's episode, we have a very special guest because, as I mentioned, I want to do some of our office hour episodes where we bring on current and former Done Dissertation and Velocity Group coaching program clients to talk about their journeys. And so today, I'm very honored to present to you. We have Jessie Desir, who is a current client of ours, and she is also a current doctoral student in nursing at Barry University in the College of Nursing and Health Sciences. So I'm so excited for you all to learn more about Jessie's journey, about how she's navigate the doctoral program experience and really just give insight about what's next for her in her career. So let's give a warm welcome to Jessie. Jessie, how you doing?
Doing well. Thank you, Dr. Goings.
Well, thank you so much for being on the episode today. So where I want to start, because I think a lot of us, you see folks get into doctoral programs and they think, oh my God, you just started there. You already had things mapped out. So if we backwards map this, right? So would you ever have said as a kid right now that you would be in this seat getting your doctorate? Is this something you've always envisioned for yourself?
What I can say, Dr. Goings, as a kid, my parents, my family's from Haiti, and education was always at the forefront. My parents pushed education. Again, my parents would say education is wealth. So did I see myself in this seat getting a PhD degree? What I do know is that I valued education, and probably after I became a registered nurse and I obtained my associate degree, then bachelor's degree. And at that point, I said, you know what? I can certainly move on to a master's, and then who knows what will happen after that. But the master's degree was wow, if I can reach there, then I can do anything. But by the time that I did achieve a bachelor's degree, I knew that, just keep going.
And so who gave you your motivation in terms of, pursuing your education, and who was like those people that pushed, gave you the momentum to keep going?
I would say my parents at first, at the forefront of my education, but it's actually working as a nurse and able to pretty much influence, touch patient lives. And I knew that, listen, I can actually do this. And also educating newer nurses. I felt like it was a passion for me. And just the mere fact that I do desire for better patient outcomes. And I can only do that with education.
Yeah, for sure.
Higher education, yes.
And so what allowed you, or what gave you the idea to pursue nursing? So, not everyone goes in nursing. So I'm curious, what was your journey to nursing?
It's so funny, Dr. Goings. I remember being in high school, right? And trying to figure out, well, what do I want to do with myself? So born and raised in Flatbush, Brooklyn, and I was in love with hip hop. And I'm like, I'm going to be a hip hop artist.
Okay, I didn't know this. All right, Jessie, that's cool. I learned something new today, y'all.
So I just love the urban life. It's like, I'm going to be a hip hop artist. And I remember telling my mom, because at the time I thought that I can sing like Whitney Houston. At least I can hold a note at that time. And I told my mom I'm going to be a singer. So my mom did not discourage me. But what she did say is, that's fine. You can be a singer, but you're going to need something that's going to put food on the table. And I'm like, I'm going to be rich. What are you talking about?
I'm with you. I see what he's doing.
I'm going to be rich. And she said, well, before you get to becoming a singer, why don't you make sure that you earn a degree? And why don't you just become a nurse? And I would say, I was a bit like, foolish, and I said to my mom, ew, like, I don't want
Mhm.
to touch people.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But then something happened. I had a family member that became ill with
Mhm.
cancer. And it was a cousin of mine who I loved dearly. And I couldn't understand why she was like healthy one day and all of a sudden she's in
Mm,
the hospital and she had a blood cancer. That's all I had, remembered and
yeah.
understood. And then 2 years later, she passed away. And that devastated me. So
Mm,
now, as I am maturing, graduated out of high school, now I wanted to know, well, why did she become sick? And that sort of gave me that desire to pursue, that education on health and wellness. Why did she become sick? So now I wanted to know, why did she become sick and how do I prevent
mm,
becoming sick? And just the journey of seeing her go through, the process of having treatment for her cancer and being at the bedside, and when she was home just helping her, I felt like, you know what, I would like to help other people. And I went into nursing
that's
after
great.
that and
I
love
love
it
it.
ever since. So I had a bit of growing up.
So let me ask you something. So I'm gonna go back to this hip hop piece, right? We're gonna go back to that for a second because I'm curious. Did you have a name? What was your singer name? Like I'm pretty
Oh
sure
my
you had
God,
this mapped out. I'm sure you did.
I
So what was
did.
your name?
So
What was your name back
so
then?
I have an identical twin sister. And of course she had to be, my ride to die.
Yes.
So our name was Twin Hype.
Twin Hype. I love it. All right. Twin Hype. I gotta
So
remember
we
this.
thought we were going to do, she's identical with me. We thought we were going to do modeling. We would be somewhere in entertainment business, modeling and
Yeah.
hip hop and singing. Yeah.
Now, does your twin is she in any of those? Is she in entertainment at all? Either?
No,
Okay.
no, she's a speech teacher.
Okay. But the
We
thing
grew
is,
up.
y'all are still entertaining though. If you got to think about what you do, it's just maybe in a different venue,
That is
probably.
correct, because we're still in front of the public view
Yeah.
and the public eye.
No, I love that. I love
Civil
that.
servants.
I love that. I had to go back to that because I'm always
Yes,
interested in what.
still love hip hop, but
No, I get it. I always tell folks part of my journey was I wanted to be Quincy Jones, and so I
okay.
love music and being a music producer. So I get it. So when you said, I was like, I get it. Like self
Yeah, yeah.
entrepreneur. So that's
Through
cool.
through middle school and high school, I was in the music program because I really believed that I was going to become a music artist. Yeah.
Got you.
Okay.
And so, you had this experience with your cousin
Yeah.
and you had this desire to kind of learn more. And so at that point, do you enroll in school to into a nursing program? Is that kind of what you made this transition at that point?
Yeah, because I thought at first that I was going to be physical therapist,
Okay.
and as I was actually in school for the prerequisites, I thought, this is boring. Like I want to really just be in the know of what
Yeah.
patients are going through. I wanted to be more forefront in the disease process itself. So then I did change my major when I was in college to nursing, and never regret it. Absolutely love the discipline of nursing.
And so, let's talk a bit about your nursing journey. So, what types of positions did you take throughout your career so far? Did you always stay on the patient facing side, or did you make a move? And like, talk a little bit about that, because I know there might be some folks in nursing who are like trying to figure out what options do I have in the field.
Yeah, there are a lot of options within the one discipline of nursing. You have so many specialties
Hmm.
within nursing. So yes, I started, and as most nurses would start, night shift med surge, medical surgical unit, where you get a variety of every diagnoses. And yeah, this is where you're going to gain your skill. You're going to see everything from gastrointestinal bleed to whatever else is happening, cardiac issues, circulation issues. But as I earned the experience, I
Hmm.
wanted to challenge myself. So I remember walking up into the nursing administration department and I asked them, I would like to move out of med surg and
Mhm.
especially off of night shift.
Indeed, I understand.
Right. And I want to go into critical care because now I want more. I want more challenge. I want really to challenge my brain and my critical thinking skills. So they thought, well, you have to go through training. I said, whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
So at that particular health system, they, of course, had their own education department, and I went through training for critical care. And not long after, I was working within the critical care, units. I started out in the cardiac critical care unit, but shortly after moved into medical ICU, surgical ICU, neuro ICU. What else did I leave? Cardiac
Oh,
ICU.
wow.
I
You did
think
it.
I
Yeah.
got them all. And, as life would have it, I was married, divorced. Now I'm a single mom of two beautiful girls, and I am working as much overtime as I possibly can to keep the lights on, keep us under a roof, and keep food on the table. And I would say that's where I really got my knowledge
Mhm.
and my experience of because I would go in as either agency nursing or working overtime in the facility where I was already full time. And when I would have these extra assignments, the nurses, they were mean nurses, and they would give you the hardest cases. And
Okay.
that challenged me. And I I of course wouldn't, I would take it. Give me whatever because I need, and at the time I need the money
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
raise my kids. I need the money. So let's go. And that experience has taught me so much, has allowed me to gain critical thinking skills. And I've taken that experience to teach other nurses who were new to the unit.
Yeah.
And just everything that I've learned, I did move into nursing administration. So from the cardiothoracic, surgery unit,
Yeah.
I moved into nursing administration where I was the house nursing supervisor for an entire hospital.
Wow.
And I took on that role. And that was a great role. And from that role, I figured I want to do something more. And that's when I decided I wanted to pursue my PhD degree.
Wow, that's definitely a journey. Like for the PhD, you wanted to do more. In your mind, going into this doc program, what does more look like for you?
More it nursing has so many layers,
Yeah.
so there is more out there. And with a PhD, I desire to be a nurse scientist.
Mm.
And I would love to be more involved in nursing research. And why do I say this? Nursing research to improve patient outcomes. I want the research that I do to, of course, fall back on the clinical area, clinical setting to improve patient outcomes. And that was just being in administration and seeing how, yes, I know what is happening on the clinical side. Now I know what's happening on the administration side. I want to bridge that gap from clinical and administration and say, you know what? We need more research. That's what we need so that we can fix some of the problems that I see on both sides.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
So, a part of my journey was similar, right? So, in my clinical for me was being a teacher. So, I saw that side. And then I said, wait a minute, there's people, there's policies that are impacting me as a teacher. So, then I went to work on the policy side for the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for African Americans. Then I saw what was happening on the policy piece. And then now I was in my doc program at that time. So now I was seeing the research piece. I think you're a triple threat when you can do that.
Yes.
Because you can talk to all the audiences. It makes it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, I jumped because I've had many different roles as a nurse, but I just can't, I can't say them all. But
Yeah.
this is 20 years in the making. So I've, come a long way from just med surge night shift
Yeah.
to where I am. There's a lot of in between. So, yes, I can speak to a lot of different nursing specialties. within the 20 years of nursing. Yes.
No, that's great. And so, you decide to go into this doc program. I always say some of us are a little crazy for getting these doc programs. So, talk about when you first transitioned into the doc program. How did you manage coursework? And I'm assuming at this point you're still working full time while doing the coursework. So, how did you manage all of that?
it, I'm managing. When I first started, it's just like, oh my goodness, am I doing the right thing? This is where I want to be. I'm happy. Let's do this.
Yeah,
I have this drive. And sure, you have to get through the prerequisites as well as the didactic. And I love learning. Like, I really love to keep in the know. And I feel like I'm that person that wants to know what's out there, what's going on. Even when I was at the bedside with patients, I would speak to them. What is going on? I want to know what is going on. So, same, I would say the same position with school. I want to know what is out there, what's going on. I want to learn more. So, began the PhD program with that mindset. And as I'm learning, you're gaining knowledge. And now it's like, how do I use this again to impact patient lives and
yeah,
to improve patient outcomes? So currently, now that I am looking at just waiting on proposal defense,
yeah,
prior to getting here, just actually trying to get through candidacy, I realized I need help. There's a void where, yes, I have gone through this much of the program, but I'm stuck.
yeah,
I'm stuck where I don't know what to expect from here, because you can finish your didactic, you know what classes you need, right? For
yeah.
next semester, then the semester following. And so now that you're done with the didactic, well, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. This is where I was looking for help. I got through candidacy, I feel, through this, the skin of my teeth. And this is where I found Done Dissertation.
Interesting. Okay. And so, what were you looking for at that moment? Because I know you talk about being stuck, but if you can explain what stuck looked like, because I think a lot of audience members probably are stuck too and trying to out.
Okay.
And what were the signs that said, "Oh my God, I'm really just stuck in this right now"?
Stuck for me meant that I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know, or there's an unknown of what is the next step, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. I didn't know where do I go from here. I understand that I have to get through candidacy, but what else? And as I'm going through candidacy, my professors would say, I need more. I need you to explain more about your topic. And stuck was, well, I don't know what that more is. Like, what is it that you're asking me? I felt that there was a void where if I wasn't able to truly articulate, then I felt like what was missing was my professors helping me or telling me what I needed to articulate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that,
Um,
that makes sense. I know a lot of folks are figuring out like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
or
say-
how do you want me to say this?
right,
Like,
yeah,
I don't know how to say this. And yes, you have to stay in the literature, but how do you put that all together? You have the literature, you know what you want to study, but then how do you articulate that I would say, in a fashion that is a sequence fashion?
Mm, that makes sense. And so, you're looking around for support in some way. How did you find us? I'm trying to remember. At this point, I don't remember. How did you find us?
Okay, so I am bummed out, like completely nervous what is going to happen to me with candidacy. I tried to give it my all, but just knowing that something is missing because there's a fear of the unknown.
Yeah,
Like, I know there's more out there as far as what I need to do to complete my PhD. I just don't know what it is.
sure.
So I was speaking to a friend and I'm almost boohooing, like, oh my goodness, I'm so scared. I'm so anxious. I have so much anxiety. I don't know what I'm doing. And she said, "Oh, girl, um, my girlfriend, I think she just finished the program, or is it her mother? Let me call her. Let me text her.
Uh-huh.
Oh, a matter of fact, let me see what she's doing. Maybe she can meet us out for dinner. So here is this young woman that said, "Oh, my mom just finished." And I'm like, what? So three ladies having dinner in Queens, New York City. And she's like, "Oh, I'll give you the name. Let me just ask my mom." She texts her mom. She says, "Oh, it's Done Dissertation." And I'm just like, I need the information. So it was a godsend, seriously, because what Done Dissertation has done was take off that lid of that process to getting done, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. And
Now I
so,
can see
yeah,
what to, like now I know what is expected of me. Before I didn't know, and you're stuck like, I don't know what to do. And you're just waiting on your professors to tell you the next step. And I also felt that the professors were holding back information. Like they can just tell you, here, this is what you need,
yeah.
but they won't. And you don't want them to tell you, I guess, any answers, but just help guide you. And I felt that was missing. Done Dissertation has provided that roadmap, if you will.
No, that makes sense. And so you came. I remember you came to our event. What was your experience like? Because it's a 5-hour virtual event. Folks. I remember you were on the whole time. I think you were writing because you came on the hot seat coaching. And so, talk about your experience at the event and what your takeaways were, and just kind of what you were thinking about as you were attending.
Right. So, what I would actually was thinking while I was attending the event is, man, I wish I would have found you sooner. I probably would have saved some hairs on my head. And the experience was just a clear-cut roadmap, helping doctoral students map out their journey for the PhD process. The experience was great. A lot of the that training for that day I had already done, and that's why I said I wish I would have found a Done Dissertation sooner. However, still not too late, because you're helping me. Done Dissertation is helping me greatly with now finishing off the course. This is like a race course here to getting done with the dissertation process to earning that PhD. But the experience was just opening up and uncovering all of the unknowns, if you will. So when you are a doctoral student, this is the step one. This is what's going to happen. Step two. This is how you get to the finish line. Follow these steps. Yes, you're going to have work to do, but at least you know what it is that you have to do, if that makes sense.
No, I love that. And I always tell folks, like, look, at Done Dissertation, we're not writing anybody's dissertation. I still have my
Right.
own research to write. You got to do your writing. You got to put your work in, but we're going to give you the roadmap that you can follow to get to where
Yes.
you need to go.
Yes, you uncovered that unknown. So now you can see what you need to do. So you just got to get to work and do it.
And so let me ask you this. What made you decide to join the program at that point? You came to the event. What made you say, all right, because I remember you were like, I need this. Where do I sign up? Let's go. Like, I'm ready to move forward. So how did that happen for you? What was your decision on that?
Well, having the experience with my professors at school, I realized, like I said, this is my opinion. I feel like they're holding back information, or I don't know why. I just feel like, anyways, they're holding back information, and I know I need to be done with this degree. I don't want to stay in school for years and years and years. I want to graduate. They hold the key to graduation, but why are they holding back on the information that you need so that you can continue to progress? They rather you circle, chase your tail, circle around, than to say,
Yeah.
put down the cheese and follow the cheese, if you will,
Yeah,
to the end.
that makes sense.
And I remember that when I said, no, I'm ready to start, because I saw that there was value in what I just said, value in this program that uncovers that unknown and, again, give you that roadmap. And like I just said, you're going to have to do the work yourself, but at least you know what you have to do to get there. And prior to finding Done Dissertation, I was at a point where I didn't know what to do. Like I'm at the mercy of my professors, and they're not giving you everything that you need to know.
Yeah.
So you are just stuck where they put you to stay. And you're just inching your way, and this is not good, send it back. No, we need you to talk more, but about what? And you are helping to say, okay, you do need to talk about more, but take, look at it in this lens. Your project is qualitative phenomenology. Have you thought about this? Go back into the literature. This is what you're looking for. You're not doing the work for the students, but you're actually giving us the the
Yeah.
guidance of where to find it, where to go, and how to get this degree done.
No, for sure. And so, real quick, can you tell folks a little bit about your dissertation? What's it going to be about? 'Cause I know you're waiting to defend your proposal at the time of this recording. Hopefully, by the time this comes out, or when people see this, that you will have been past this, proposal defense, probably done at that point. So, tell us about your dissertation.
Right. So thank you. So a little bit about the background of my project or my dissertation. Being that cancer has hit my family pretty hard, and I spoke about my cousin who passed away, but now I actually took care of a patient that passed away from cervical cancer.
Mm.
And there was a void there where, yes, she was terminal, but she lived in survival for about 5 years prior to her passing. So, my dissertation, the background is that gynecological cancer treatments may be associated with negative consequences to women's sexuality. And I'm
Mm.
speaking about sexuality because currently now in nursing, we do not have a standardized protocol to address women's sexuality. And we have to know that it's okay to talk about sexuality. It's part of being human.
Yeah.
It's an integral component of human beings. Within the background of my dissertation, I speak about the reproductive organs and how the organs have a purpose, for creating life. And I have a phenomenology study to understand that lived experience of women's sexuality after gynecological cancer treatment. And it's because of this one woman that I cared for, where I felt that we as healthcare, we failed her in addressing that aspect of her survivorship, and we were not treating her in a holistic fashion.
Yeah.
We're treating the cancer. Unfortunately, the cancer is progressing, and we do know that there's, not much more we can do, but she's still living. She's not dead.
Yeah.
She's not the walking dead, she's still living. And it is our job as healthcare professionals to make sure that we address every aspect of that disease process to try to get her to as much wellness as we possibly can.
Yeah, and I hope I'm just sitting here, even though we're interviewing for this, but just as a coach, right? So something that I just thought about as you were speaking in your proposal defense, tell this part. I hope you do tell this part of the story about this client
Yeah.
to then segue into the research. I think it's really compelling, right? So you
Yeah.
can just say like, I've seen this play out as a practitioner, and then when I go to the literature, I don't see anyone talking about sexuality in relation to gynecological cancer treatment. I think it really tell a great story. So just something if you don't have it already,
Right.
definitely open with it. I think it'll pull people in and it'll get really involved in your research. So I think a lot of us think of research as very technical and like clinical, but I think that these stories matter to our work.
Absolutely. And it's from the all of that experience that I've gained over the years in nursing, where again, how do we improve patient outcomes? And this is just one of the many issues within healthcare.
Thank you for that. And so, you're going through this process. Um, what does life look like as Dr. Desir? So, we're going to put this into existence. Dr. Desir is coming in the months following. And so, what does life look like? What's next for you? What do you want to do with this degree once you have it?
Absolutely. So I did mention that I do want to become a nurse scientist, but also educate. I would like to speak on podiums. I would like to see nursing research move in a direction where we're speaking right to impacting patient outcomes,
Mhm.
not just medical research, but having a plethora of nursing research. Because nurse scientists, we are at the bedside, we're at the clinical setting. We speak with patients, we touch patients, we see what they're going through. And I feel like we are a better fit. I'm not discounting doctors at
Yeah.
all. We need medicine, but nursing, the discipline of nursing is just much more as far as as touching
Yeah.
touching the patients right where they are when they need it, and having more nursing research. Definitely we can impact and have better patient outcomes.
I love that. And for folks, make sure that you have to bring on Jessie for speaking engagements around these areas because she'd be great to have at your organization. So I definitely put my stamp of approval on this. So
Excellent.
definitely do that because she's doing great work. And then again, you have someone who has all these experiences clinically. You have the research background as well as the administrative piece. I mean, it's a great combination.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and so as we wrap up, if you had to say, Jesse, I always like to ask this question. If you had to see yourself let's say 5 years from now, what do you think? Where do you think you'll be? What do you think you'll do?
I would like to be national and international, pushing nursing in the forefront of everyone's face of how can we, just improve those patient outcomes again.
Yeah.
And when I say improve patient outcomes in all entities, oncology, cardiovascular disease, endocrinology. Like we can go on and
Yeah.
on. There's just so much. How can we mobilize? And I say we, nurses, how can nurses mobilize? There's definitely global initiatives out there, global sustainable goals to try and shed light on maybe disparities in healthcare. I mean, I can go on and on. There's so
Yeah.
many different entities, and I want to put my nose in all of them, Dr. Goins.
All right. I love it. That's cool. No, I'm with it. And so I love to hear you say that. And so as we get ready to wrap up, I do want to ask this question because to come back to this hip hop thing from the beginning, right? So are you bringing this? Is there anything that you took from those experiences, being very interested in entertainment and music, that you think show up in the work that you do now? I'm
They
just
absolutely do, because when I'm speaking, in front of an audience, yeah, I do put on a show. I can hear, I don't know, LL Cool J in my head. I can hear Biz Markie. See, I'm,
yeah,
I'm showing my era. I can hear
that's the
Flavor
New York
Flav.
City.
Boy.
Yeah. I love it. I love it, y'all. Because I always say, because there's always experiences, and I tell this in for me, right? So the crazy thing is that I go around and get paid to speak is crazy because when I was a kid, I was a singer as well. I was really good. I'm really musically talented.
You see?
And my mom, how moms do. Oh, my kid is great. Go sing. And then one day she had me sing in front of the church. And so I didn't realize that the church is when you're going to choir rehearsal and you're practicing the solo, it's nothing. Nobody's in the audience. But
No,
now
no.
on Sunday during church, it's hundreds of people in this church, and I
Looking
froze.
at you.
I couldn't get a note right. It was just a mess, and it's bad. And people in the front were like, "What did they tell you? Bless your heart, baby. Take your time, take your time. If they say take your time, they mean like hurry up and get out of here." And so it's interesting. That's why I say some of our early experiences show back up later in
Yes.
life, just like
Yes.
yours did. Even though you're not in the entertainment space per se, you're
But it
still doing
shows
it as
up.
a nurse.
It shows up because I used to sing my heart out. My go-to song was "The Greatest Love of All,"
Okay,
Whitney Houston, and
gotcha.
on the talent shows, I would sing my little heart out.
Love it.
So if I get the stage just to talk about nursing, and I shouldn't say just to talk about
Yeah,
nursing, but to talk about nursing, I still have that. What's that? That drive,
Yeah, yeah.
to just to hit people where where it needs to be.
I love it. I love it. And as we wrap up, where can folks find you if they want to reach out to you, to book you for a speaking engagement, all those types of things? Where can
Sure,
they find you?
definitely. I am on LinkedIn. My name, just find me on LinkedIn. I actually didn't prepare on. Thank you for asking,
Yeah.
but Jessie Desir. I'm under Jessie Desir, MS Ed RN
And
BC
we'll
dash
put this in the
BC.
notes as well in the show notes, so they'll have access to a link to you.
Beautiful. Yeah, you'll find me on LinkedIn, definitely. And my email is very simple, jessiedesir@gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, Jesse, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. I'll put you behind real quick, and we'll chat after the show ends. But thank you so much, and folks, definitely reach out to Jesse. She's great. Make sure again, she might give you a show along with giving you some entertainment, and knowledge. So make sure that you definitely bring her on. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
Thank you all again for tuning into this episode of Done Dissertation Office Hours. I'm your host, Dr. Ramon Goings, founder of Done Dissertation, where we demystify the dissertation process so that doctoral students can write and defend a dissertation in 1 year or less. Again, I want to invite you to our 5-hour virtual event called Design Your Done Dissertation. At this event, we're going to help you create a dissertation completion plan that will put you in position to finish your dissertation in months instead of years. During this event, not only will we help put your plan together, but you also will have an opportunity to get hot seat coaching from myself, from my other coaches. And then again, you also get to hear from current and former Done Dissertation clients about their experience working with us, so that you can learn more about what we do at Done Dissertation. So if you've been on the fence thinking about that you want to work with us, now is the time. You definitely don't want to miss this event on August the 21st. To grab your ticket, visit www.designyourdissertation.com. We look forward to seeing you all next time on another episode of Done Dissertation Office Hours. I hope you all have a blessed week, and I look forward to talking to you soon.